let's move on. So Andy Cohen. No. So Andy took to his social media. If you follow me on TikTok, if you follow me on other platforms, then I posted the video of Andy explaining. He did an interview with Chris Wallace, and Chris Wallace brought up that, a quote that Andy says, I hope that Jen Shah doesn't go to jail.
Jennifer Shah.
Yes.
Who was a member of the Salt Lake City Real Housewives series, was just sentenced to 6.5 years in prison for defrauding thousands of victims in a telemarketing scheme. Now, you're on the record last November as saying that you hoped she would get no jail time. And the question I have is, why would you take her side against the thousands of people she defrauded, including a lot of elderly?
I think I was hoping that she was actually innocent. I wouldn't have.
She pleaded guilty.
That was before she pled guilty. I mean, that I said that, I would think.
No, I think it was after.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, God.
And we remember when he said this, but he was right. He came out on his Instagram story talking about, he didn't know the context of the quote that Chris Wallace was bringing up in the moment, but then he went back to look at it and he's like, well, no, that's not what I meant in the context of what I was talking about. Okay? Let me just play for you what he said. Hold on, y'all.
One more thing. I got a lot of comments yesterday about the Chris Wallace interview. I loved that interview. I thought it was a really dynamic conversation, and he's such a good interviewer, and I love that he asked me really provocative questions. Now, the thing that's getting picked up is that I said that I didn't think Jen Shah deserved jail time, or I didn't want her to get jail time, or something like that. I just want to clarify the context of what I said. I was saying it in response to people wanting to know if she was going to be back on the show. And I will post a direct quote after this video so that you can see the context. I knew that there had to be some context, and I should have asked him what it was, because the context is different from the quote on its own, as often happens.
So you can see here what the quote was. Let me read it to you guys. You can see it though. He says, she's being sentenced on December 15th, so I don't know what to say to people who want her on the show. The Bravo exec 54 exclusively told Us Weekly on Thursday, November 17th, while promoting his partnership with Fresca Mix. He says, I hope that she gets no jail time whatsoever and she can come right back. But I have a feeling that she's not going to be available to be on the show. Look, And look, in all fairness, because Andy and I slam Andy when I want to. And I have to say, in all fairness, I remember this quote. There was some context, but let's fast forward. This past weekend, I was slamming him for, in the same breath of talking about, I read the victim statements, but this weekend I'm going to head on, see if I can interview Jen Shah. Jen Shah posted a glam photo of herself about see you soon, alluding that this interview was happening with Andy Cohen. It probably will coincide with the failing Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion that will be coming, I think, January 25th. So, look, Andy, I'm reporting on your response. I didn't run with the narrative that you wanted her to get no jail time, and I'm glad you cleared it up. Okay. All right. Let me play something for you guys. So the other story that I want to talk about that's related to Andy Cohen, as you saw from the thumbnail, I wanted to talk about Kyle Richards from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Reza from Shahs of Sunset. That's been canceled. But okay, they're working on a new show from what we hear. All three of them were at BravoCon. They're clearly working on something, just haven't officially announced it yet. I don't know what they could be working on that's just named something different. It's probably going to still be Shahs. All right. And Shahs was a good show. We recapped it. All right. So let me play for you. And shout out to our friends over at Bravo Snark Side on Instagram.
Most overrated Real Housewife.
This is gonna get me in a lot of trouble.
Okay,
and
good. I like
apologize
that.
in advance, Kyle Richards.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sorry, Kyle.
You want to expand on that at all?
Ding dong, I want her to come back.
You want
LVP.
LVP to come back?
I mean, Andy. Remember the adjacent, like legacy and adjacent. There's room for. I want to know what's going on in her life. You've got me addicted.
Vanderpump Rules.
But like.
You saw that, Vanderpump Rules. You know what? Every time I keep talking about this, I said LVP is not coming back unless they cancel Vanderpump Rules. But based off the trailer, a lot of you are excited for the new season of Vanderpump Rules. All right? I'm just excited to talk about Garcelle's son and that whole scandal again. I won't be recapping the entire season of Vanderpump Rules, but we'll talk about those episodes. Okay? And maybe we'll talk about it here on Tuesday Takeover. So I asked you the question, and I want to know from you guys, who do you think is the most overrated housewife? When he said Kyle, I never really thought of Kyle immediately because I really don't think of Kyle. You know what I mean? In that way. And in any way, shape, or form, you know, overrated, underrated, I wasn't thinking of her. So when he said that, a lot of people agreed. But she decided to chime in on social media. I'm going to share our friends OMFG Reality TV on Instagram. I can't get my words out right now. I think I need to eat. I think that's what it is. Okay. All right. So our friends over at OMFG Reality TV captured this for us. So Kyle responds in the comment section about this clip and says this: wasn't his show canceled? And wasn't he the first one voted off of Traitors? I can't even be offended. A lot of you have been telling me I should watch Traitors on Peacock. I don't know. I might give it a watch if I find some time this week, and then maybe we'll talk about it on Thursday, or on next Tuesday. All right? So it doesn't end there, though. It doesn't end there. Reza responds. Okay? Reza responds. Let me share my screen. Reza says, my show was canceled and I was eliminated first, but my sister and all my castmates still like me. And then at one point he tags Kathy Hilton. He's like, how are Kathy Hilton and Kim Richards, Kyle? I mean, did you really think going up against a gay man, specifically Reza? I mean, if she had watched the clip, you saw that Reza didn't really mean any harm, but he had to share his truth. You know, on Watch What Happens Live, they corner them with this situation. They try to make people say shady things to stir up beef so that the blogs will talk about it. Oh, someone said Traitors is awesome? All right. But I really did like Reza. Look, you know, we've talked about Reza. I told you when we recapped Shahs of Sunset, I didn't really love Reza. So when I saw Reza backstage, I kept my distance. I told you he had a dark spirit. Remember? Look, if you go back to our Shahs of Sunset. So him saying, my show was canceled and I was eliminated first, but my sister and all my castmates still like me. I mean, I don't know about all the castmates. I would have to speak to all the castmates to confirm that. I mean, the show was canceled, but I have to say, when the show was canceled, a lot of people were upset that Shahs of Sunset was canceled. And they were actually surprised because the ratings were not that bad. They were far better than Watch What Happens Live. Here we go. Here we go.